Hello everyone, welcome to the Medicine Health 360 channel. Today we talk about the first trimester, weeks 1 to 12 weeks. Absolutely, the first trimester, weeks 1 to 12 of pregnancy, is a profoundly critical period in shaping not only the baby's physical body, but also the foundation for emotional intelligence, EQ, cognitive development, IQ, and long-term health. Let's explore this through famous real-world stories, then dive into medical and scientific insights with actionable advice for prospective parents. Famous stories, lessons from history and life. 1. Marie Curie's daughters. Marie Curie continued her pioneering scientific work during her pregnancies, and her careful balance of intellectual stimulation, rest, and nutrition likely contributed to the remarkable intellectual achievements of her daughters, Irene Joliot-Curie, Nobel Prize winner, and Eve Curie, writer and humanitarian. This illustrates how early prenatal environments can influence a child's lifelong cognitive and emotional traits. 1. Queen Victoria and hemophilia. Queen Victoria unknowingly carried a gene for hemophilia, which affected her descendants across Europe. Her story emphasizes the importance of genetic counseling and prenatal health awareness for family planning. 1. The Dutch hunger winter, 1944-1945. Children conceived during this famine had higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive deficits later in life. This tragic episode scientifically proved that malnutrition in early pregnancy can permanently alter fetal physiology and gene expression via epigenetic programming. 1. Modern example, Serena Williams's pregnancy. Serena Williams continued professional-level fitness while pregnant, maintaining balanced nutrition and stress control. Her healthy pregnancy and delivery demonstrate how exercise, mindfulness, and medical supervision can optimize outcomes even under physical demands. Famous stories. Nicole Kidman. The actress suffered multiple miscarriages before successfully carrying her babies to term. She credits her healthy pregnancies to careful medical attention and self-care. Chrissy Teigen, the model and TV personality, openly shared her struggles with pregnancy complications, emphasizing the importance of prenatal care and support. The link between the first trimester and lifelong health is powerfully illustrated by two historical events. 1. The story of thalidomide, the cautionary tale. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, a drug called thalidomide was prescribed to pregnant women worldwide to combat morning sickness. It was deemed safe for adults. However, it was a tragic disaster for prenatal development. The drug specifically interfered with the formation of limbs during the critical window of weeks 4 to 8 of pregnancy, a time when many women didn't even know they were pregnant. The result was thousands of babies born with severe birth defects, most notably phocomelia, seal-like limbs. This tragedy forever changed drug regulation and hammered home the absolute criticality of the first trimester. It taught us that something can be harmless to the mother, but catastrophic to the developing embryo, and that timing is everything. 1. The Dutch hunger winter, the story of fetal programming. During the winter of 1944-45, a Nazi blockade caused a severe famine in the Netherlands. Scientists later studied the children who were in the womb during this period. They made a startling discovery: babies conceived during the famine had a higher risk of obesity, heart disease, and diabetes later in life. The reason? Their developing bodies received a powerful signal from their mother's malnutrition that the outside world was a place of scarcity. Their metabolism became programmed to store fat very efficiently. When they were born into a world of plenty, this thrifty metabolism became a disadvantage, leading to health problems decades later. This story proved that the first trimester doesn't just build the body's structure, it sets the thermostat for the baby's lifelong health, a concept known as fetal origins of adult disease, OFOAD, or the Barker hypothesis. The thalidomide tragedy, 1950s-1960s. In the mid-1950s, thalidomide was developed by a German pharmaceutical company as a sedative and widely marketed to treat morning sickness in pregnant women. It was sold in over 46 countries under various names and considered safe because early animal tests showed no lethal effects. However, when taken during the first trimester, specifically between days 20 and 37 after conception, it crossed the placental barrier and disrupted fetal limb and organ formation. This led to over 10,000 babies worldwide being born with severe birth defects, including shortened or absent limbs, phocomelia, vision and hearing loss, facial paralysis, and internal organ damage. Around half of these children died shortly after birth, and survivors faced lifelong challenges. The connection was established in 1961, leading to the drug's withdrawal and major reforms in drug testing for pregnancy safety. The Dutch Hunger Winter, 1944-1945. During the final months of World War II, a Nazi blockade caused severe famine in the Netherlands, affecting about 4.5 million people, with daily caloric intake dropping below 1,000. Pregnant women exposed to this starvation, particularly in the first trimester, gave birth to children who later showed increased risks of obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and altered lipid profiles in adulthood. Those exposed early in gestation also had higher rates of schizophrenia, lower IQ, poorer academic performance, and accelerated biological aging decades later. This event provided key evidence for the fetal origins hypothesis, showing how prenatal malnutrition can program lifelong health issues, including metabolic and cognitive impairments. The 1964-1965 rubella epidemic in the United States, a major outbreak of rubella, German measles, infected about 12.5 million people, including thousands of pregnant women. If a mother contracted the virus in the first trimester, it often led to congenital rubella syndrome in the baby, causing heart defects, deafness, cataracts, intellectual disabilities, and growth retardation. Approximately 20,000 babies were born with these issues, 11,000 pregnancies ended in miscarriage or stillbirth, and 2,100 newborns died. This epidemic spurred the development of the rubella vaccine and emphasized the need for preconception immunity checks, as first trimester exposure was particularly devastating for fetal organ and brain development. Prenatal exposure in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 1945. Following the atomic bombings, pregnant survivors exposed to radiation, especially between weeks 8 and 15 of gestation, gave birth to children with higher rates of microcephaly, small head size, mental retardation, seizures, and poor school performance. In utero exposure also increased risks of leukemia and other cancers later in life. These outcomes illustrated how environmental toxins during the first trimester can interfere with brain and nervous system development, leading to lasting cognitive and physical impairments. Intense symptoms. Many narratives center on the challenging physical symptoms, such as severe morning sickness, nausea and vomiting, which can be debilitating or even lead to hyperemesis graduae uavum, HG, a condition famously experienced by Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, and comedian Amy Schumer. These stories emphasize the immense physical toll the early hormonal surges take, anxiety and uncertainty. Accounts frequently detail the emotional roller coaster, the initial shock and excitement of a positive test, quickly followed by anxiety. This is often heightened by the risk of miscarriage, which is highest in the first trimester. Sharing stories of early pregnancy loss, as many celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence and Chrissy Teigen have done, helps to normalize the grief and break the silence around this common experience. The first sight. A common thread of immense relief and profound emotion is described after the first ultrasound scan, often the 8-12-week dating scan, when the parents hear the baby's heartbeat or see the small, distinct human shape for the first time. This moment often solidifies the reality of the pregnancy. Physiological and obstetric foundations. 1. Weeks 1-4. Implantation and germ layer formation. Fertilized egg, blastocyst, implantation in uterine wall, formation of ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, which become all tissues and organs. Folate, vitamin B9, is crucial here to prevent neural tube defects, spina bifida, and encephaly. Medical advice: take prenatal vitamins with 400-800 mg folic acid daily before and during early pregnancy. 1. Weeks 5 to 8. Organogenesis, organ formation. Heart begins beating, but day 22. Brain, spinal cord, limbs, and facial structures begin forming. Exposure to toxins, alcohol, nicotine, heavy metals, radiation can cause major congenital anomalies. Medical advice: avoid alcohol, smoking, drugs, and unnecessary medications. Ensure environmental safety, no chemical exposure. Schedule the first prenatal ultrasound around 6 to 8 weeks. 1. Weeks 9 to 12. Fetal growth and hormonal stability. Placenta develops full function. Nutrient and waste exchange. Sex organs differentiate. Head and brain enlarge rapidly. Thyroid hormones and maternal cortisol begin influencing neurodevelopment and temperament. Medical advice: manage stress and sleep. Maternal cortisol crosses the placenta. Engage in mindfulness, relaxation, or gentle yoga. Ensure adequate intake of iodine. Seafood, iodized salt for fetal thyroid development. Nutrition and medical recommendations. Folic acid, B9, is crucial for neural tube closure. Sources include leafy greens, legumes, and supplements. Start before conception. Iron prevents anemia and supports fetal oxygenation. Sources include red meat, spinach, and lentils. Iron often needs supplementation. Calcium and vitamin D support skeletal development. Sources include dairy, sunlight, and fortified foods. They help prevent maternal bone loss. Omega-3 fatty acids, DHA, EPA, support brain and eye development. Sources include fish like salmon and sardines, and flaxseed. They can improve future IQ and EQ. Protein is necessary for organ and tissue formation. Sources include lean meats, tofu, and beans. Aim for around 70 grams per day. Iodine supports brain and thyroid development. Sources include iodized salt and seafood. Adequate iodine prevents cretinism. Zinc and selenium are important for DNA synthesis and antioxidant protection. Sources include nuts, seeds, and whole grains. They support immune and brain function. Nutrition and supplementation. Folic acid. This is arguably the single most important supplement. Take a prenatal vitamin containing 400 to 800 micrograms of folic acid daily, starting at least 1 month before conception and continuing through the first trimester. This drastically reduces the risk of neural tube defects. Iron supports the massive increase in maternal blood volume, ensuring oxygen delivery to the placenta and baby. Iron deficiency anemia is common and can cause fatigue and complications. Medical advice: include iron-rich foods like lean red meat, spinach, lentils, and fortified cereals. Pair with vitamin C for absorption. Discuss supplementation and ferritin testing with your clinician if needed. Quality protein. Protein provides the amino acids needed to build every single cell. Include lean meats, eggs, dairy, beans, and lentils. Choline is critical for fetal brain development and helps prevent neural tube defects. Best sources include eggs, lean meats, and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. Hydration, vital for expanding blood volume and supporting amniotic fluid. Aim for 8 to 12 cups daily, more in heat or exercise. Sip regularly, monitor pale straw urine, and add electrolytes if vomiting or dizzy. Limit sugary drinks, choose water first. Fetal brain, EQ and IQ development, neural tube, brain formation, weeks 3 to 4. Folate and B12 are essential for proper neural closure and brain formation. Synapse and neuron growth, weeks 6 to 12. DHA, omega-3, and iron promote neuronal growth and myelination. Maternal emotional state. Chronic stress increases maternal cortisol, crosses placenta, affects amygdala, emotion center. Long-term risk for anxiety or low EQ. Positive emotions, music, and social support can enhance fetal heart rate variability, linked with better emotional resilience. Sleep and circadian rhythm. Maternal melatonin entrains fetal biological rhythms. key for sleep and cognitive regulation later in life. Guidance for prospective parents. 1. Before conception, complete physical exam and genetic screening. Begin prenatal vitamins and healthy diet. Maintain a healthy BMI and blood sugar control. 1. During first trimester, avoid alcohol, drugs and smoking completely. Minimize stress and get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Eat balanced meals with high-protein breakfast. Attend all prenatal appointments and ultrasounds. Gentle exercise, e.g. walking, yoga, boosts circulation and mental health. 1. Emotional and cognitive environment. Talk to the baby, play calm music. Build a positive, calm relationship between partners. Emotional harmony fosters a stable environment. Avoid conflicts and stress exposure during this sensitive period. Gentle exercise. Unless contraindicated, moderate exercise like walking or swimming is excellent. It improves mood, reduces constipation, and promotes healthy blood flow. Avoid high-impact sports or activities with a risk of falling. Choose low-impact, steady movement. Manage morning sickness. If you can't keep food down, use small, frequent, bland meals like crackers, toast, or bananas, and sip fluids. Talk to your doctor if symptoms become severe. This may be hyperemesis grader ervam. Avoid infections in the first trimester. Listeria. Skip unpasteurized milk, soft cheeses, and deli meats unless reheated until steaming. Toxoplasmosis. Avoid changing cat litter, wear gloves while gardening, and wash all fruits and vegetables thoroughly. Avoid extreme heat, skip hot tubs and saunas. Elevated core body temperature, hypothermia, is linked to neural tube defects. Keep baths warm, not hot. Cool down during heat waves. Hydrate and rest. Seek medical advice if you overheat or faint. Summary: first trimester, foundation for a lifetime. Physical development, organogenesis, structural health, brain growth, neural tube, neurons, IQ potential, emotional environment, maternal cortisol, bonding, EQ development, nutrition and lifestyle, epigenetic programming, lifelong metabolism, disease risk.
Quick call to action. Please subscribe to Medicine Health 360 and tap the thumbs up to support more helpful videos. Thank you.